Hi friends, and welcome back to Cupcake Cat. I'm Angela. It's been a while, but I'm back with another craft. This was a turntable. I picked it up at Dollar General a few years ago. It was slightly damaged, and the turntable on the bottom never turned. It was really stiff. I loosened the screw. I tried to put beads in it, add a different screw, and nothing worked, so I just kind of left it. The blue doesn't really go with my decor, but I figured I could use it for something else, and this project turned out to be it. I was really hoping to get this project out last week in preparation for Teacher Appreciation Week, which we are currently in the midst of, but unfortunately I didn't. I create YouTube videos for fun because I love crafting, and yeah, I just love it. But I do own a bookkeeping business, and the month of April is a little stressful as I work with accountants trying to get my clients' taxes ready to be prepared by them. So I just had to take some time off and focus on that for a little bit. But I did slowly work on this, and I didn't get the editing done in time last week to get it out. But here it is, a little late. Maybe it'll give you inspiration for next year, or even the end of the school year. Or maybe just for your house, your own personal decor, gift for a friend, whatever. It doesn't have to be teacher related, because this project is not teacher related. It is a general gift with a few little teacher elements thrown in. The thing I've noticed as a former PTO member and working with teachers for a few years is that by the time Teacher Appreciation Week rolls around, they don't need much stuff for their classroom. Their teachers are no longer thinking of that. They're thinking, summer is so close, I can't wait to be done. And they really appreciate stuff for themselves, not necessarily the classroom. So I always try to do something fun that is not necessarily teacher related, quote unquote, but is just something that is personal for them. So I decided to do this. I picked up a lot of these elements from Dollar Tree, a few from Walmart. This tray obviously came from Dollar General, just a mix of things, but I am a big theme person, so I pick a theme and that's what I roll with, and I just grab elements from here and there, wherever I find them, that fit the theme. The theme this year is lemons. I found these really cute glass cups with mason jar lids and a straw at Dollar Tree, and I built this entire project off of those glasses, cups, whatever you want to call them. As you can see, after I sanded down the original project, I gave it a couple good coats of white chalk paint. My white chalk paint is really thick, so I ended up spraying some water on it to kind of smooth it out and get it to spread easier. I did use my hairdryer in between each coat, and I also sanded after it was dry just to get a smooth finish, because the chalk paint had lines in it from the paintbrush and I didn't like that. I then started to complete the lemon look using this yellow, and I messed up because I was just going through looking at all my yellows, figured out which one I liked, started using it, and it wasn't until I finished this circle and went to go use my hairdryer that I realized I had picked a gloss paint instead of a matte acrylic, and gloss paint you can't really sand, so the yellow has lines in it from the paintbrush. But oh well, I rolled with it and it worked out fine in the end anyways. So I'm leaving this part in. Obviously it's sped up. because if you've been here with me for a while, you know that I am going to be honest with you. I'm going to show you my mistakes. I planned, I marked lines, I measured, I thought I had everything perfect until I started to actually paint, and I realized my triangles were way too close together. They weren't spaced out right. I would have had like, I don't know, 12 segments, something, I don't know. But I only wanted 8 and that just didn't work. So in the end, I ended up having to repaint the white, resand it, and I ended up cutting out pieces of paper and trimming those down until they were somewhat fit. And then I was able to start painting and, adjusted the painting as I went along, but it would not have worked out had I just continued. Speaking of being honest and keeping it real, I give so much credit to all the creators out there, especially the craft creators who come up with, 6+ projects a week and they post every week, because I can honestly say I was not disappointed in the fact that I had to take most of the month of April off, because by the time I hit April, I was burned out. I don't know how they do it, between life and kids and my husband and these crafting projects and recording and editing and all of it. It became so overwhelming on top of my other business. But I still want to put content out there for you guys. So going forward with my channel, it's gonna be a little different. I'm gonna focus on themes because that's what I like, obviously, and do maybe 2 or 3 crafts per video, maybe only do a couple videos per month, just because I want to bring you quality, not quantity. And crafting, to me, I enjoy it because I get to produce something beautiful, and that's what I enjoy. I don't do it quickly. If you notice, I hardly ever use big paintbrushes. Most of the time I'm using little tiny ones and detail, and I spend the time to make it look perfect, and I'm not trying to rush through it. So that is the future of my channel. I hope you enjoy it. I'm hoping to also do some bigger projects, maybe some furniture flips and stuff like that. So if you're interested, definitely stick around. It's gonna be fun. I know that for sure. And I always try to give you my tips and tricks that I've learned through crafting or from other content creators and stuff like that. To give you an example, when I uploaded all of these videos into my editing software, it was a total of 7 hours that I spent on this project combined, and you guys will probably see maybe 20 minutes of it, of that 7 hours, and this is one craft project. Technically, I guess it's 2, because I am gonna make a little riser. Sneak peek. But that the quality of the item meant more to me than the quantity of the projects I'm putting out. I guess that's all I'm trying to say. So y'all didn't see the little piece of paper that I had cut out, but I took a yellow Crayola marker and marked the tip and then the 2 wider corners at the top, and kind of just put some little lines, and then that's why I have these lines on here, because I connected the little corner pieces, and then I was able to drag my paint down to the tip that I had also marked. And I made these skinny to begin with, and then went through and filled them in and made them wider after I got them all painted to kind of decrease the white space between the triangle segments. And because this is a gift and I wanted my project to look finished, I did give the backside a couple coats of white and then painted it in the yellow. I chose to do the white first so that the yellow was bright and stood out as much as the front side did. Had I not used the white paint, it would have been darker and not as vibrant. Vibrant's the word I'm looking for. So I gave this a good couple coats and, used the hairdryer in between to dry that. Once everything was dry, I did go in and add lines to the lemon segments. The yellow I'm using is a lighter yellow. It's called Yellow Flame by Apple Barrel, and it is a matte. It was really thick. I haven't used this color in a few years, so I did end up spraying some water in it and mixing that up to kind of thin it out. I did go through and give each line a couple coats until I was happy with how dark it was, how bright it was, whatever, I don't know. It's a lighter color, but anyways, I did do that a few times, like I said, a few times, and then gave each line a quick sand, but not much, and then coated the entire project in a coat of matte varnish by Waverly, just to protect the surface. And since I did use that white chalk paint, I needed to make sure that if it got wet, it didn't get damaged. And I'm pretty sure I gave it 2 coats of that varnish on both sides. No, I did not do the back because it is already gloss and it did not need it. I am going to be putting handles on this tray from Dollar Tree, the black ones. You'll see them here in a little bit. But because those have screws, even though I'm going to countersink the screw head, I didn't want it to potentially damage the teacher's table or whatever she puts this on. So I decided, and I kind of wanted it as a riser as well, tray/riser thing. So I decided to take these little doll wood pieces that you can get at Dollar Tree now, and I gave all of them a couple coats of paint until the color matched the tray. And I am so excited about Dollar Tree's craft section. Like, I was so sad and I was so afraid that when they started clearancing everything out, like the Crafter's Square section was just gonna go away. And it didn't. It came back in full force, and a lot of the products they have are in new packages, but then they also have items like this, which we've been looking for years and have had to go to other craft stores to get, Michael's, Hobby Lobby, stuff like that. And to have them actually at Dollar Tree now is awesome. So I decided to use these. I did not paint the bottom of them because I wanted it the raw wood to help the glues attach to the bottom of the tray. And as you can see, because these, I'm trying to paint the entire thing and there's nowhere to really hold on to as I paint, I did do them in sections and then dried it in between. Now this is the bottom of the Lazy Susan. I called it a turntable earlier. Either way, it had this felt liner on it to protect the surface it was sitting on. But I decided I wanted to use this as well, and why not make an additional smaller riser using it. Started off by trying to scrape the felt off with a razor blade. I had a dull razor blade on my thing, so I switched that out for a new one. The new one kept trying to dig into the MDF, which I didn't want, so I kept going back and forth, and then just decided the old one was better. Slow and steady wins the race every time. So once all of the big pieces of felt were off and the little, I don't know, whatever was left, it was still a little tacky, sticky, I don't know, from the glue they used to attach this. So I did go through and give it a quick sand while continuing to use the razor blade to scrape off the residual felt that was left. This section here with the groove, I'm going to use it as the bottom because the opposite side is flat, but because this is where the screw was originally located, it did go through the entire piece, so I covered that with some wood filler and then decided that I didn't like how grainy it was, so I sanded it down as good as I could, and then I went back in with some, not joint pound pack, spackling. Went back in with some spackling and just smoothed that out so that it had a smooth finish like the MDF in the final project. And if you've ever worked with spackling, you know that it does shrink as it dries. I totally didn't think about that when I put it on the first time, so I did have to go back in and add a glob on the top. I didn't worry so much about the bottom and sanded that smooth so that it wasn't sunken in. Because, say it with me, if you can feel it, you can see it once you paint. I did paint it the exact same way as I did the big tray, so I won't make you watch that. But I did attach these little wooden doll feet things I'm using with a combination of gel super glue around the outside and then hot glue in the middle. And I just tried to space them out as best as I could. I did use, this actually held the blades to my razor blade scraper as a measuring thing. Spacer, that's the word. Words are hard today, y'all. Words are hard. As a spacer to keep it the same distance from the edge. And then some of the gel super glue did ooze out the edge, so I used a scrap piece of sandpaper to just kind of scrape that off and clean it up. I did want this little riser to have its own set of feet, so I took some unfinished wood beads and gave them a couple coats of the yellow paint until it matched the yellow on the riser. And I knew that I was going to be putting some little felt pads on the bottom of these, so I didn't worry about filling the hole with spackling. I actually used super glue once I attached them to the bottom of the riser using the hot glue and the gel super glue. I then poured some, or squirted some the hot glue down into the hole and kind of scraped that off to make it flat, knowing it would be covered up. And after I'd painted the first one, I realized that I just needed to stick them on the bottom, do the glue thing, and then paint over the entire thing, which made it way easier than trying to paint them on a skewer. And then using the handle for the holes, I drilled those out, and this is a countersink bit which widens the hole so that the head of the screw fits into it and doesn't stick out. And then I started to screw these into the handle and realized that the screws were too long, so I used a pair of wire cutters meant for cutting electrical wires, like, you know, your outlet wires. And I use those to chop down the length of the screw so that they fit and didn't stick out. And they were pretty, like, there weren't really sharp edges, but the bottom wasn't smooth, and I needed to make sure that it fit into the handle still and was able to screw in. So I did have to use some 60 grit sandpaper to kind of adjust the screws so that they still threaded into the handle. Once that was done, I was able to attach both of the handles to this tray. The countersink bits I used, I did get at Harbor Freight, and I actually get a lot of my tools and stuff that I use for crafting at Harbor Freight because they are inexpensive, but a lot of them are really good quality, and sometimes they're better than ones you can buy at the big box stores. The wire clippers did come from either Lowe's or Home Depot because they are Southwire, but I know you can get those at Harbor Freight as well. My husband just had them, so that's what I ended up using. I did try tin snips, and tin snips did not work because they tend to twist around the screw instead of cutting through it. Now this part I didn't capture it on camera because I had it closer to my lap. One of the holes didn't line up correctly. It was too wide for the screw to fit into the handle, but I was able to take my drill bit and kind of wallow out the hole a little bit, just enough to get it to catch into the handle, and it all worked out. You don't see that the hole's any wider because it's hidden by that handle, and it's tight because the handle and the screw are squished through the wood. So now I needed to add some little felt pads to the bottom of all of the feet, and I had these little round brown ones and I could not find them anywhere, but I had this stick, I guess, of felt from a package from Dollar Tree. So I just cut off some rectangles, trimmed them down to rough circles. Are they perfect? No, but they work. They did end up being really thick, which I didn't like, so I ended up kind of trimming them in half through the felt to make them thinner, and then attached all of those. And these are all the lemon and yellow related items I picked up for this gift. I'm just gonna go ahead and put it all together, and then when I go to package it up, I will cut a piece of cardboard to go underneath and then slip this all into a clear plastic bag that they have Dollar Tree has for gift baskets. It's a gift basket bag, that's it. And tie it up with a cute little yellow bow on top and deliver it to my son's teacher for her Teacher's Appreciation Week gift. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Not sure when that will be, but until then, bye!